feminine look the way you want it to be, you could still redirect yourself from name brand clothes and name brand products to generic brand clothes and generic brand products, which would give you remotely the same result in your look, but you're not paying 10 times more or 100 times more just for the name. That's the difference. Um, there are certain hobbies and habits that you can have that don't cost that much money. And then there are some hobbies and habits that you have that cost far too much money. And when you think about why you perform certain habits, if you realize that the stress reliever is actually costing you more stress than relief, then you might find yourself, how you doing, hamburger helper? They're the same. That's an interesting question, completely unrelated to the show. They're the same. Waffles and pancakes are the same. So, uh, when you are thinking about fixing the things in your life, you're looking at the stuff that's costing you more money and costing you more stress. That if you detour away from that, then you'd find yourself with a little bit more money and a lot less stress. So today, Thursday, we're going to be talking about how changing your posture a little bit actually helps you out with the difference between having a poor posture and having a good posture, which would improve your ability to be more successful. So we're going to try to get into that today. And I appreciate those of you that are popping in uh, throughout the night that are going to be diving into the show. If you have some comments from Twitter or Twitch, you guys can comment in. However, uh, we're going to be keeping our comments directly related to the show tonight. So if any event that your comments are unrelated to the show, then I will not be acknowledging those comments. And then those individuals that do too much in the comment section, I will have to do something about that as well. So we're hoping that you guys keep those comments appropriate and keep those comments appropriately designed for the topic of discussion tonight, where the topic the of discussion is about how to improve your posture to improve your confidence and improve your success with social communication. Um, And then if you start spamming the comment section, I can guarantee you that that is the fastest way to get removed off of the channel. So I just want to make sure that you know that. But as we get started today, I got a good question for you guys. Have you ever walked into a room and felt a shift in the energy? I mean, you see someone who's exodus this calm, undeniable authority is a completely different type of person. Okay. You know, they haven't said a word, but every head turns as they enter the room. There wasn't a public announcement. You didn't hear trumpets. There wasn't a change in the music or lighting redirecting your attention to this one individual. It's just you knew that that person was there. Now, think about a time that you felt that exact opposite, a time that you walked into the room and felt completely invisible. Maybe you had a brilliant idea to share in a meeting, but it felt like you were talking on mute, or you were on a date trying to connect, but there was a wall of awkwardness that you just couldn't break through. You stood in a circle of people at a party wanting to join in, but felt like a ghost as conversations flowed around you, through you, but never to you, right? It's a deeply frustrating and isolating feeling. It can make you question your worth, your intelligence, and your own voice. You start to wonder, what am I doing wrong? Don't they even see me? You know? And why don't they hear me? You might spend hours perfecting what you're going to say, rehearsing a pitch, or planning conversation starters, only to have your messages fall completely short. So, here is the secret confident person in the room who knows, maybe without even realizing it, it often has a little to do with what you're saying and more about how you're saying it. So the impact of your words is massively shaped by the silent signals your body sends every single second. The nonverbal communication is a huge piece of the puzzle, and it's shaping how people see you before you even open your mouth. Your posture, the way you hold yourself, is the foundation of that communication. It's the billboard that announces who you are. A slouch posture can broadcast insecurity, nervousness, and a lack of authority, essentially giving others a subconscious permission to overlook you, interrupt you, or dismiss what you have to say. It creates a barrier, an invisible wall between you and the respect that you deserve. But what if you could tear down that wall? And what if I told you there's a 60-second posture reset that can project your authority and in instantly changing how people perceive you in modern society? Now, this isn't a fake it till you make it kind of situation. It's about awakening a psychological and physiological feedback loop that exists inside you right now. So, in tonight's show, I'm going to guide you through the simple science backed steps to stand in a way that commands respect before you say a word. And this isn't about looking more confident because typically you want to look more confident. It's about creating a powerful, positive feedback loop where the respect you get from others reinforces your own genuine self assurance, transforming how you feel on the inside and how you show up in the world from the outside. So I want you guys to stay with me because this small shift has the power to change everything. Okay. Now let's talk more about this idea of the invisible wall. Think of your body as a broadcast tower. Now, every single moment, it's sending out a signal. The question is, what is your broadcast saying? For a lot of people, especially those who feel socially anxious or overlooked, the posture is broadcasting a message of submission and apology. It's a message that says, don't mind me, I'm not a threat, or I don't want to take up too much space. I'm not a threat should not be the thought that you're coming into this conversation with, but that's where we are right now. This is what we call closed or contractive body language. Now you can picture it: shoulders slumped forward, curving your upper back. Some people have developed that posture by habit. Um, this is your chest is going to be caved in, almost like you're protecting your heart. Your head might be tilted downward, your gaze aimed at the floor instead of the world in front of you. And maybe you cross your arms around your chest, creating a literal barrier, right? Or you might stand with your feet close together, minimizing the physical space you occupy. And these aren't just random habits, they are deeply ingrained evolutionary responses to perceived social anxiety or threats. When we feel insecure or afraid, our bodies instinctively try to become smaller to protect our vital organs and appear less noticeable. It's a primal defense mechanism. In the wild, making yourself small could save your life. But in modern world, in a boardroom, at a network event, or on a date, this same instinct is actively sabotaging your success. So when you adopt a contractive posture, you're sending a flood of negative signals. Psychologically, you're telling the brain of everyone around you that you lack confidence. Socially, you're communicating that you don't accept or expect to be listened to, or that you don't feel like you belong. You're not accepting the fact that you belong. People form these opinions in under 30 seconds, often before you've had a chance to show how competent or warm you are. Now, this creates a self fulfilling prophecy because you appear less confident. People are less likely to engage with you or make eye contact. They might interrupt you more or distract their questions to or um, and redirect them to someone else who seems more open and authoritative. Now, this lack of positive feedback then reinforces your own insecurity because this is causing you to retreat even further into yourself. So you slouch more. You slouch more so you feel more disrespected. It's a vicious circle. Uh, Physiologically, this posture is just as damaging. Slouching and compressing your torso physically restricts your lungs, making it harder to take deep, full breaths. Instead, you fall into a pattern of shallow chest breathing. This type of breathing is directly linked to the body's fight or flight response. It signals to your nervous system that you're in a state of stress, which can increase your heart rate and flood your system with stress hormones like cortisol. Now, this state makes it nearly impossible to feel calm and confident. You feel physically agitated, your mind races, and your voice might even get higher and less resonate because it doesn't have proper breathing support. You're not just looking insecure, you are physically creating a state of anxiety within your own body. I gotta see how much coffee we got left. Now, this is the invisible wall. It's built brick by brick. With every downward glance and every slumped shoulder, it's a wall that isolates you and keeps your true value from being seen. But the most important thing to know about this wall is that you have the power to tear it down. So you can choose to send a different signal. And it's going to start with understanding the profound connection between your body and your mind. So, how does changing your posture actually change how you feel and how you're treated? It isn't magic, it's biology. We all know that our feelings affect our posture. Feeling sad, you slumped over. Feeling proud, you stand tall. But what a growing body of research shows is that this stress runs both ways. Your posture can directly influence your thoughts and feelings. So, this is the principle of embodied cognition, the idea that the mind is shaped by the entire body. Landmark research published in 2010 found that holding an upright, confident posture actually made participants have more confidence in their own thoughts. Think about that for a moment. The simple physical act of shifting straight up can lead you to believing in your own ideas more strongly. When participants were asked to slouch, they reported more doubt, less confidence in those small thoughts, the same thoughts that the other participants had. And they were literally embodying self doubt. Now, you may have heard of power posing and its connection to hormones, specifically the idea that standing in a powerful pose can increase testosterone and decrease the stress hormone cortisol. Now, this came from that initial 2010 research, but science is all about testing and retesting. And it's important to be nuanced here. How you doing, A Snowy Man? Okay, here's an interesting question. Do you shape your life around what is true or around what is comfortable? If the truth is uncomfortable, uh, couple sacrifice or change, would you follow it or redefine truth to justify your comfort? Um, as a man of uniformity, I stick to consistency. And also, as a minority, I can tell you that life is never comfortable. So, at least not in the United States. So, I lean more towards what I can prove to be true. And the reason why I lean more towards what I can prove to be true or what I would identify as right or correct or accurate is because if it is true, it should always be true under those circumstances. Because if it's not, then we're just arbitrarily selecting favoritism. The truth is not going to be comfortable more often than not when it is not in favor of your agenda. And the confidence, as we're talking about in this show tonight, to project that truth is required because we have the pillars to do what you know is right. First and foremost, understanding what is true, what is correct, what is accurate, standing up for what you believe in so you can find information that changes your observations. Defend that by any means necessary and accept the consequences of your actions before you perform the action. Now, does that mean that you're always going to act inside of the law? Well, if the law is allowing for something that you believe not right to occur, then you're probably not going to follow a law. But if you recognize that by not following the law, that there are consequences, those consequences, if you're willing to accept those consequences, then you should stick to that by any means necessary. This is the difference between saving a life or letting someone die. This is the difference between helping somebody in need or watching them suffer. This is the difference between being nice and being a dick. But whatever it is that you're going to do, if you're consistent about that, uniformity. For example, punch a person in the mouth that steps on your J's. Not necessarily socially acceptable. But if that's a position that you have, it doesn't matter if they're 4'5" or 7'9". Doesn't matter if they're 100 pounds or 345. They step on the J's, they get punched in the mouth on principle. Now, you stand on that by any means necessary, even if you realize before you take this action that you will get knocked the fuck out. The fact is that if you're not going to change based on the conditions, that this is a finite expectation, then you are standing on a moral compass. Doesn't necessarily have to be the same level of morals as someone else, but it does mean that you're standing on a moral compass. But if you are selectively only punching folks in the mouth that you think you can beat up, that's an arbitrary stance. Now you're just egotistically disrespecting people because you believe that they can't defend themselves, which is not the appropriate position to have. Because while the consequences haven't changed, you punch someone in the mouth, there will be retaliation. Whether they sue you, whether they get you arrested, whether they beat you up. The fourth option is you might actually win the fight, but you will devalue yourself for getting into a fight. So you have to really think about the total outcome because as a walking business, if you're out there having a world star moment, you are not putting yourself in a position to be a financially investable option after that fight is over. I mean, unless you're a prize fighter. He comes back with, oh, so that's interesting. You think truth necessitates an argument with objective confidence necessary to follow what is correct. I believe that you should do enough research to know what you're talking about and to be able to back up the information that you have until you receive information that contradicts that. Um, I do not believe that truth necessitates a specific argument. I believe if the grass is green, the grass is green because it's always been green. That would be a truth. If tomorrow the grass was blue, here, hypothetical, not even hypothetical, a full recognition. The grass is green because the grass is green, but the grass is green usually in the springtime. Sometimes it'll be green in the summertime, but you notice that it sometimes turns to yellow and brown in the fall, and then it withers up in the wintertime. So the grass isn't always green. So if the grass isn't always green, you can identify that when the grass does emit a color, it primarily emits a color green. What argument do you have that grass isn't always green? Because you've seen it not green. This is a simplistic argument, but it doesn't necessitate an argument. Because if somebody asks you what color is grass, the first go to response is going to be green. Why? Because more often than not, you've seen it green. Often than not, the people around you have seen it green. Um, some people might even imply that non-green grass is considered unhealthy grass. Now that is a further in depth of an argument, but it doesn't change from the fact that you're going off of the information that you've obtained, which is what we're talking about here with confidence. Is that you obtain a new level of confidence, and in that new level of confidence, you are going to project that confidence to emit that information that you have obtained. Now, when you doubt the information, you want to ask more questions. You're not folding on your confidence. You want to ask more questions, get more information. It's not about being closed off like red side or blue side, where you're only sticking to information that validates and re verifies your information, recognizing that there's contradictory information out there. Instead, if new information is presented, you analyze the information for its validity, and then you are going to pass off that information towards uh, another conversation. So if someone wants to come to the show and actually provide some insight that would either contradict my statements or further ratify my statements, that extra insight would be taken under consideration from everyone else that's watching the show. But I appreciate the restructuralization of intellectual comments. Now, in the years since the original studies about posture, the specific hormonal claim has faced a replication crisis. Some studies have found the hormone effect, while many others have not. And that brings us back to the reason why I entertained your question is because if information contradicts your previous assumptions, then you have to reanalyze your observations of the situation. So, in fact, in this understanding, one of the original authors has since stated that she no longer believes the hormone effects are real. See, changing an opinion. So, does that mean posture is just a placebo? Absolutely not. What subsequent research, including large scale analysis, has consistently and powerfully confirmed is the psychological effects, the effect on feelings of power, confidence, and mood is real and has been replicated in labs around the world. A 2022 meta analysis confirmed there are robust differences in how people feel when adopting expansive versions, contractive posture uh, in their daily lives. So let's look at expansive versus contractive because the expansive versions versus the contractive postures has shown some huge differences. It turns out feeling powerful is what makes you accept and act powerful. Feeling itself is the engine of change. So let's talk about another undeniable scientific link posture and breathing. So, as we discussed, a slumped posture contracts and restricts your rib cage and your diaphragm, forcing you into shallow chest breathing. So, standing or sitting upright does the opposite. It opens your chest, it gives your diaphragm the large muscle at the base of your lungs, okay, the freedom to move as it should. So it allows for deep diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. Now, not a lot of us actually breathe from our bellies and our diaphragm. Some of us try to breathe from the chest because it makes your chest look bigger, right? Some of us breathe from our stomachs, from our belly area, but the combination of both actually provides a lot more oxygen to the body because the lungs in this area would get a lot more oxygen if you were taking it more between the chest, and the belly. Not too many people think about that. And it's weird because women will breathe from the gut and men will breathe from the chest. And you'll come to notice that women with a larger chest will find themselves slouching more often. Typically, a subconscious insecurity related to the size of their chest, because when your shoulders are back, your chest is out, whatever's on your chest is going to be out even further. So, if you're trying to minimize the visualization of the chest, you're going to have a more slumped and slouched scenario to kind of minimize the observation of the chest. I don't recommend that. But the type of breathing that allows you to um, expand your chest area to improve your breathing is the body's master key for de stressing. Deep, slow breaths activate the parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest system. So, this system acts as a brake on the fight or flight response. So it slows your heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and signals to your brain that you're safe and in control. So by simply straightening your spine, you give your physical ability to breathe in a way that neurologically calms you down. And if you think about that, you're less likely to chase a cigarette, you're less likely to chase a shot in order to calm your nerves. You more often than not would just rotate your shoulders in an appropriate fashion to have your chest out, shoulders back, few deep breaths. Think about what you're about to say before you say it, because a lot of times in a conversation, especially in a board meeting or a discussion, it is not about how fast you respond, it's about what you say when you respond. You're short circuiting the anxiety feedback loop and replacing it with one of calm authority, which is something that a lot of us need. So when you deliberately shift into an expansive upright posture, you're triggering a powerful trifecta. So first, you change how you see yourself, making you feel more confident in your own ideas. Second, you enable deeper breathing, which psychologically calms you and your nerves and your nervous system. Third, you change how others see you. They see your open posture and subconsciously register confidence and authority. They more likely are going to make eye contact, listen, and treat you with a lot more respect. That external validation then strengthens your internal confidence, making it easier to maintain the posture. Now, this is the science of how you stand, a tangible process that you can start in an instant. Now that we've understand and wrapped our minds around the why, let's get into the how. Now, this is the core of our practice, the 60-second posture reset, which is what we were talking about for the day. It's a simple, deliberate ritual that you can do in private to recalibrate your body and mind before walking into a situation where you want to feel your best. This is something that you can do as soon as you get out of the car. Um, this is matter of fact, this could be your intro performance before you walk into a room. You stop at the door. You perform this step. It only takes a minute. Reset yourself as soon as you're getting ready to walk into this room. And then when you march yourself into this room, you are bringing into the room a level of confidence that changes how everyone perceives you. So think of it as tuning your instrument before a performance. You can do this in the bathroom stall, an empty office, your car. I think that you should do it as soon as you get out of the car so that you've got more room to function. The goal is to consciously move your body from a state of contraction to a state of expansion. So let's do it together step by step. I want you to feel the difference in your own body. Step one, you want to plant your foundation. This is going to be 10 seconds. First, focus on your feet. Stand with them about a hip width apart. Too close, and you're unstable. Too far, and it can look unnatural. That sweet spot where you find solid and grounded. You want to find that. Distribute your weight evenly, feeling the floor beneath both feet, not just on one side or uh, more weight on one side than the other. Even if you have an injury, I found that with an injury, if you possess a cane, you could alternate where you have your weak leg on the same side as your cane, and you can put more force on the cane to offset the force of the opposite leg so that you can still maintain a strong stance. Then you want to soften your knees slightly. And I can tell you that those of us that grew up in the 80s, we spent more time with bent knees. And one of the reasons why is because boys will be boys, or at least that's how the saying goes. When we were in the playground playing games, we would have games like open chest, where if you didn't have your chest crossed up, that somebody would come and punch you in the chest, um, and then run, or that they would try to chop block you, where they would come in and hit you in the back of the knee. And it wasn't ever hard where like it would break something or it would cause you serious injury, but it would be something that would catch you off guard and startle you, right? But if your knees were bent, when they came and chop blocked you, it would flex your leg, but you wouldn't lose your balance and fall. If you had locked your leg on that particular posture, on that particular stance, and somebody came through and decoupled the back of your knee, that you would fall when they chop blocked you. And that was the goal, was to catch each other off guard. And you would lose the game if you fell, and you would lose the game if your guard wasn't up. Well, childhood games is training. Don't lock your legs. Always have them slightly bent. Now, they don't have to be fighter stance bent. They just have to be bent enough where they are not firmly locked in place. Now, this prevents you from looking stiff and allows for a more relaxed, ready stance. This is going to be your foundation. A confident presence is built from the ground up. You are claiming your space, such as it were. You're here and you're solid, right? Now, step two, you're going to open up that torso. This is going to take about 15 seconds. So, this is where we directly counteract the slouch. The most famous version of this is the Wonder Woman or Superman pose, for good reason. You place your hands firmly on your hips. You feel that um, change in your posture, it immediately pulls your shoulders back and opens your chest. For many of us who spent our days hunched over a desk, this might feel a little strange or even vulnerable. And that's okay. You literally are undoing hours of protective posture. Those of us with back injuries might find that doing this particular type of posture, you might feel pressure being released in your spine. Actually, when you're slouching, you're putting unnecessary space between your vertebrae. And a lot of times, those individuals with injuries develop inflammation and swelling in between the vertebrae, which then prevents you from being able to stand up straight again because of the pressure. But being able to rotate your shoulders and being able to adjust your spine and readjusting your posture, you're able to alleviate that inflammation and then regain some of the straightened posture that you once had. Now, think about your shoulders. The tendency is to pull them back up and towards your ears, right? Instead, roll them back and then let them drop down. Okay. Imagine your shoulder blades gliding down your back into a comfortable and powerful position. This creates a long neck and releases tension because by always keeping your shoulders up here, you are keeping tense shoulders, which actually causes neck pain. Now, your chest is open, not puffed out aggressively, but simply open. You're no longer guarding yourself, you're open to the world, which is contradiction from what we used to learn when we were going to school playing those open chess games. Now, an alternative, if hands on hips feel too bold, is to let your arms hang at your side with your palms facing slightly forward. This small rotation has the same effect of rolling your shoulders and opening your chest. It's more subtle, but just as effective. Step number three, you want to align your spine and your head. And a lot of us have what they call text neck because we spend a lot of time, we're ironically slouching when we're doing this, but we spend a lot of time on our cell phones. We're face down, chin to our chest, looking at our cell phone. In that position, you are actively slouching. Very few people have their cell phones in the upright position like this. Typically, I guess we're subconsciously trying to gain privacy because if we have it in the upright position, the people over our shoulder can see what's going on. So we kind of shelter, guard, protect the information on our cell phone, and we hunched over and pay attention to it, right? Now, for one of the most effective mental cues for posture, you have to imagine an invisible string attached to the very crown of your head and gently pull you towards the ceiling. Now, feeling this string elongating your entire spine is the goal, which is almost the same as just using your neck muscles to shift your head upward away from your body, shorter, stretching your neck. You're not trying to compress your neck into your shoulders like a turtle. You're trying to stretch your neck in a vertical position. It's not about arching your back. It's about creating length and space between each vertebrae. So you want to feel your neck getting longer. Now, as this string lifts, you let your chin find a natural position parallel to the floor where your chin should be further back and towards the floor. Now, many people in a submissive posture tilt their chin down. Others, trying too hard to look confident, tilt it up, which can seem arrogant. The goal is neutrality. So your gaze is now straight ahead, not looking into the clouds and not looking at the ground. You're meeting the world on equal terms. Now, I can say that depending on your height, if you're trying to make eye contact with an individual, you can effectively gaze directly above their eyes at their forehead, which has, if you're looking straight, your head would be shifted upward enough where if you're looking at their forehead, your head is facing them where they would be looking into your eyes and assuming that you're looking into their eyes when you're clearly looking above their eyes. This actually modifies a level of discomfort that some people have with making eye contact because you're not looking directly into their eyes, you're looking at their forehead, right? But this alignment signals poise and balance. Step 4, you're going to start breathing into your power. You're now holding the pose, your feet grounded, chest open, spine long, chin level. And the final and most crucial step is to breathe into this new shape for the next 25 seconds. So you take 3 slow, deep diaphragmatic breaths. You can place a hand on your belly to feel movement. Some people actually spend more time breathing out of their chest. Either way, you're going to do something like that for 25 seconds. Exhaling all the air out, inhaling slowly through your nose, and counting to 4, feeling your belly expand, not just your chest. And you want to exhale because the chest is going to be a short breath, believe it or not. You want more than what can fit into your chest. And then you're going to hold that for 4 seconds and then breathe for just a moment. Now, you do that again, count to 6, let it out, do that 2 more times. And if the deep inhales is from the belly, you're feeling your power expand, and a long, slow exhale, releasing any tension and any doubt, you find yourself in more of a peaceful situation. Now, in just 60 seconds, you have completely altered your physical and psychological state. This actually works if you're in a stressful situation. You excuse yourself, you go to the restroom, you perform this immediate practice, decoupling from the stress, and then going back into the meeting and being able to take care of business. You've moved from a posture of defense to one of presence. You've calmed the nervous system and sent a powerful signal to your brain that you are confident, calm, and ready for whatever you're about to step into. Now, for those at the desk, there's a seated version. If you sit forward in your chair, away from the backrest, because sitting, when we lean towards the backrest, a lot of times we find ourselves in a type of chair that isn't suited for us, which allows for slouching or forces slouching. So you have to sit up, sit forward, away from the backrest. You're still planting your feet on the floor. You're placing your hands on your desk or on your thighs, opening up your chest, and then using the same invisible string cue to lengthen your spine. Take those same 3 deep breaths and remind yourself about This power reset that you can do without even leaving your chair. If you practice it, you'll feel it. And the more you do it, the more this confident posture will become your default. Now, the 60-second reset is an incredibly powerful tool, but its real magic is unlocking when it becomes a constant ritual. Confidence isn't a destination, it's a state that you cultivate. And habits are a language the brain understands best for creating lasting change. By linking a specific cue to this posture reset, you can train your body and mind to access confidence and command. So, how do you build this into your life? Any good ritual needs a clear and recognizable cue, a simple routine, and a rewarding feeling, right? First, identify your personal triggers. When do you need this reset the most? Before a high stakes meeting, uh, the cue could be the calendar notification. That's your signal to find a private space and do your 60-second reset. Before a job interview, the cue might be parking your car. Before you walk into the building, take a minute for yourself, tune your instrument. Before a first date or a social event, the cue could be right after you get dressed as the final step before leaving the house. Or if you're driving yourself to the event, you might decide to do it again one more time before you enter the event. Anchor your confidence before you step out into society, or at least before you step into the engagement, before you are observed by others. When you feel your energy dip at work, you want to set a reoccurring alarm for every 90 minutes. Because and you'll notice, you'll see yourself slouching. The more exhausted that you get at an activity, the more you'll find yourself slowly and slowly slumping over. So when you start feeling that loss of energy, you want to take a step back and you want to readjust your posture. You want to readjust your um, neck, your head, your back. Take a couple deep breaths, and you'll find a second wind of energy start flowing through your body, almost like releasing a level of chi. But when that alarm clock goes off, you want to take a minute. You want to stand up, do that reset, breathe a little bit, because it's not only going to boost your confidence, but also fights that fatigue, which makes us less dependent on coffee. Second, you want to create a cue phrase, and this is a short phrase, a powerful mantra to say to yourself as you hold that pose. It links the physical posture to the mental state. Keep it simple. Something like strong and ready, calm and centered. I belong here. My voice matters. You can do all of those. But let's walk through a scenario. Imagine you have a job interview at 2 o'clock. At 1:45, you park your car. You feel that familiar knot of anxiety. Your heart is beating a little too fast. This is your moment. Instead of nervously scrolling on your phone, you find a quiet spot and you begin your reset. You plant your feet, you feel the solid ground, you place your hands on your hips, you open your chest to the world, you imagine the string lifting your head, you strengthen your spine, you close your eyes, and you breathe. As you inhale, you say to yourself, I am prepared. As you exhale, you release desperation. Next, breathe uh, a little bit stronger. Do a little bit of an inhale. I have value. You exhale, releasing the fear of judgment. On the final breath, you breathe, you inhale, strong and ready. You exhale, letting go of the outcome. You hold your posture for another 10 seconds. The frantic energy is replaced by a quiet hum of potential. Now you walk into the building not as someone hoping for a chance, but as a professional ready for a conversation between equals. When you sit in the waiting room, you don't fold in on yourself. Seated posture is something that you have to maintain, keeping that open sense of self. You already run the battle with your anxiety before you got to the seat. So if you do the posture and then you fold in when you get into the chair, it doesn't work for you. Once you've done the posture, you come in, you sit down. You want to make sure that you adjust yourself so that you can maintain that posture while you sit, a more open and relaxed posture. And you'll know, because I know that some people are thinking, well, how do you know if you're doing it right while you're sitting? Well, if you're feeling tension on your head's too far forward because you only feel the weight of your head when you're slouching. If your head is further back and your chin is tilted slightly upward, you will find yourself not even feeling the weight of your head. Weird, I know, but it's true. Now, if when your head goes back, you'll notice your chest comes out. You'll notice that your stomach comes out a little bit. You're able to breathe more. If your shoulders are not too far back, because too far back is like way back here. You're not trying to do all that. You're trying to have your shoulders kind of level, your elbows level with your shoulders, almost like this, where you can touch your stomach, you can lock your fingers, you can couple your hands, whatever you want to do, find something to do. You can keep your arms straight, you can have your arms side, whatever you want to do, but your shoulders being lined up with basically your ears and your elbows lined up with your shoulders, you know that you've reasonably opened up your chest enough. Now, you can sit forward again like this, and you can get your chest opened up a little bit more. Either way, you're maintaining openness. Now, there's another one, a networking event. The thought of a room full of strangers makes your chest tighten. So your ritual is used in the restroom as soon as you arrive, not to hide, but to prepare. So you go inside the stall, or you just stand there at the sink in the mirror, and for 60 seconds, you do your reset. Your feet apart, hands on your hips, spine long, you breathe, you say your cue phrase, open and approachable. You walk out differently this time. Your head is up, your eyes are scanning the room with gentle curiosity, and you've changed your nonverbal broadcast from leave me alone to I'm here to connect. And this is how confidence becomes a habit. It's not about being fearless, it's about having a tool to manage the fear. It's about building a ritual that lets you consciously lose your state of being. And you want to be able to regain that state of being in a day by day basis to the benefit of your ability to be successful. So we're covering a lot of ground. And I hope you're already starting to feel the shift, especially if you're practicing this while we're talking. And if you find this valuable and you want more practical science based strategies to build real confidence, you want to take a second and hit that subscription button if you haven't already done so, and like and subscribe, as well as turning on those notifications. Because this channel is all about giving you the tools to become the most powerful version of yourself. And I'd love for you to be a part of the community. Now, let's talk about how to keep this confidence going when you can't step away for a full reset. The 60-second reset is your pregame ritual. But what happens when you're in the middle of the game? What about when you're in the long meeting and you feel yourself shrinking? Or when you're in a conversation and you feel old habits of slumping and looking down creeping back in? You can't exactly strike a Wonder Woman pose and just, you know, in the middle of the room when you're in the middle of a conference. This is where micro adjustments come in. These are small, almost invisible shifts that you can make in real time to maintain your confident state. How you doing, mixed martial arts? I seen Bro Logic jumping in talking about goal values. Now, these little posture changes are your secret weapon for staying present all day. So let's break down some of the most effective micro adjustments that you can do. So, seated spine lengtheners. You are at your desk or in a meeting and notice your back has rounded. Your energy is dropping. The micro adjustment that you press your feet firmly into the floor, engage your core slightly, and now use that invisible string cue. Just imagine it lifting the crown of your head, making you an inch taller. And that's it. You've just um, re engaged your posture muscles and created space for deeper breathing. Um, that's not what we're talking about today. He asks any advice for how to detach emotionally from emotionally damaging relationships. Actually, I can make a whole show about that, and I can present it to you later this upcoming week. Because today we're actually talking about improving your posture from slouching to a more power pose that allows you to receive more confidence and allows you to maintain the respect of the people in the room. Uh, However, if you're in an emotionally damaging relationship, you should just remove yourself from the relationship. The detaching process can happen over time as you have already made distance between you and your partner. You're not supposed to be trying to detach while staying in the relationship. So, but since you asked the question, I'll definitely cover a show about it, and you'll see it. I'll put it up this afternoon or this evening after tonight's show, and you can hit the notification buttons, like and subscribe, and be here for that particular show so that we can talk about that exact topic because that actually is a pretty good topic to discuss. It's just not today's topic. Um, Number two, the shoulder roll and settle. So you realize your shoulders have crept up to your ears, which is a classic sign of tension. The micro adjustments that you're going to do here is on your next inhale, you're going to subtly roll your shoulders up to your ears. And then on your exhale, you want to roll them back and let them slide down your back. So as you inhale, you want to roll them back and exhale. It's a tiny, quiet move, but it's like a silent sigh of relief for your upper body. Now, the third one is the open palm gesture. You've noticed that you've crossed your arms or fidgeting, signaling nervousness. The micro adjustment here is to uncross your arms, and it's a particularly effective move is to turn your palms slightly upward as they rest on the table or in your lap. In body language, this is a universal signal of openness. Now, that doesn't mean that you're doing this. It just means that you kind of have it in an upward open position, okay? And you're able to project a level of honesty here. It makes you appear more trustworthy and it helps you feel more open internally. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the level gaze. You find yourself looking down at the table or at your notes while someone is talking, or even while you are talking. You can find yourself looking away from the crowd, paying attention to the walls, not paying attention to what's going on directly in front of you. The micro adjustment that you're going to do here is you want to make a conscious choice to lift your gaze. Keep your chin parallel, but lift your gaze. Your chin needs to be parallel to the floor and maintain a soft, steady eye contact. This isn't a staring contest. So, in a group, you want to let your gaze move naturally from person to person. You're not staring them down, you're showing them that you're engaged and unafraid to be seen. Number five is going to be the breath anchor because your heart starts to pound before it's your turn to speak. That's anxiety rising. The micro adjustment, this one is internal. Bring your awareness to your breath without anyone knowing. Take a slow breath, focusing on a larger exhale. Inhale for 3 seconds, exhale for 5 seconds. Now, this is a direct command to your nervous system to calm down, and it's your emergency brake for anxiety and the completely invisible uh, performance. You're welcome. I appreciate you stopping by. Have a Merry Christmas as well. Now, these micro adjustments are about developing mindfulness of your own body. At first, you'll have to consciously remind yourself. You might even set a discrete vibrating alarm on your watch if you have a smart watch, or every 20 minutes as a reminder to do a quick body scan if you're doing it on your, if you have like a vibration on your phone or something like that. Think to yourself, where are my shoulders? Where's my chin? Am I breathing deeply? But over time, this is going to become your new normal. Maintaining an open, confident posture will start to feel more natural than slumping. It's also good for you having better posture because the older you get, the more spinal injuries you have to suffer from. Anybody who's ever had a back injury or a neck injury will come to find that this posture doesn't just boost your confidence, it alleviates a little bit of your pain. Your body will learn that this upright posture is the posture of feeling good, of being respected, and feeling more complete with oneself. Now, these small corrections are what sustains the confidence that you build in your 60-second ritual throughout your entire day. And we've talked about how changing your posture changes how you feel inside. But the magic that accelerates your transformation is how it changes the way that you are interacting with the world, and as well how the world will then interact with you. Because when you change your nonverbal broadcast, you change the reception that you get. And this social feedback loop is the ultimate amplifier of your confidence. Think about it from their perspective. When they see someone standing tall with open body language and a level gaze, their brain subconsciously processes a stream of positive attributes. This person is confident. This person is competent. This person is trustworthy. They haven't even heard you speak, but their brain has already formed a positive bias. So, how does this play out in real life? You'll notice people making more eye contact with you. Eye contact is a signal of mutual respect. And when you project confidence, others are more comfortable meeting your gaze. You will be interrupted far less than you used to be. You'll find yourself with more control over the conversation, even if you're not the highest authoritative person in the conversation. Research shows that individuals with expansive body language are interrupted less frequently. Your posture, nonverbal signals are going to project nonverbal cues of what am I saying and what being said by me is very important. I expect to be heard. This is something that you're going to get from that posture. So people who orient their bodies towards you, and they will in a group, you'll notice that subtle shift. A lot more people are going to be facing you. And this is going to be an intimidating feeling because even if you're in a group setting, it is almost as if you are at the head of the table because everyone will be facing you. And people will angle their feet, redirecting their feet towards you. They will be angling and redirecting their torsos in your direction and providing a subconscious sign that they see you as an influential part of the group. Now, those individuals that are not quite good with being in control of things, you will come to find that in performing this posture, you will have to change your mentality as to how you address a situation because you will be the center of your world, and the other participants in your world will, in a sense, idolize you to a magnitude of at least reasonable appreciation. This requires you to change how you address them because if you are addressing them in a more subordinate and submissive fashion, where you're all closed off, you could instantly lose that uh, ground that you have set for yourself. While you maintain this level of confidence, while you maintain this posture, your ideas will be met with more serious consideration because you're presenting yourself as a credible individual. Your words are going to carry more weight. And I noticed that a lot of times in discussions and debates, people try to challenge your credibility as an individual. Not that you don't know what you're talking about, but that they want to devalue you as a person so that people don't listen to you. But the exact same idea when you're delivering a message with a slumped posture versus an assured posture can be received in two completely different ways. Your posture is the frame for your message. Now, people that are inherently shorter, you guys have a little bit of an advantage because you can tilt your head further back to look up at the people that you're talking to, which has your chest out by default. As long as your shoulders are closer to your ears instead of closer to your chin, then you'll find yourself in a situation where you're undoubtedly going to be open chest because you're looking up at the other person. But when you're dealing with people that are your height, their eye level, you have to maintain that posture. Typically, you want to have an arch in your back. If you don't have an arch in your back, you're going to end up slouching anyway. Um, there is a way that you can improve the posture of your spine at the house. If you have a, you got to make sure of the material here. If you have a solid wooden broom, that would be the best one because the ones that look metal, the aluminum brooms, are not really all that metal and they're hollow in the middle. So if you have a solid wooden broom, if you take that broom and wrap your arms around that broom at the elbow and have it on your back and simply pull your arms forward, you will find that the broom applies a little bit of pressure on your spine. And sometimes you might hear or feel some adjustments going there. But as you do that, it will apply pressure on the spine, realigning the spine, which helps you because notice once your back goes back a little bit more, your neck feels like it's too far forward. And that's when you adjust your neck back and you start finding yourself with the posture that you're looking for. So you can practice that at the house, which allows you to be ready for when you adjust your posture at the house. And you can do that in the mirror. You can actually take the broom, put it between both arms, have it press up against your back, pull your arms forward, which pulls your back straight, pushes your chest out. Then your neck is going to feel like it's too far forward because you're going to start feeling strain on your neck. You're going to move your neck back, and that's going to be the posture that you're going to hold while looking in the mirror. You see how your chest is out, you see how your neck is back. Then, after I would say a minute or two of holding that posture, you put the broom down, you go stand in the mirror, and you try to recreate that posture without the broom. That practice that you do at the house will allow you to be able to restructuralize your position so that you're not dealing with so much back pain. So not only does this help with your emotional state, not only does it help with your confidence, not only does it help with your psychological state, it also helps with your physical condition. Your posture is the framework of your message. A strong framework makes the art look more valuable. So this social proof is powerful because it validates the internal shift that you're making. When you feel anxious, your brain looks for evidence to confirm that fear. See, no one is listening to me, right? When you change your posture, you give your brain a new set of evidence. After a meeting, your brain doesn't say, no one will listen or no one listened during that meeting. Instead, your brain says, wow, Sarah asked a follow up question to my point, and the boss nodded when I was speaking. This new evidence rewires your core beliefs about your place in the social world. The external respect that you receive reinforces the internal work you're doing. The confidence is no longer just something that you're practicing, it's something that you are experiencing. It becomes part of your identity. And this is why this isn't about faking it until you're making it, because you're not pretending. You are using a physical tool to peel away the layers of fear and habit that has been hiding the confident person that's been inside of you this whole time. You're creating the conditions, both internally and externally, for your authentic self to emerge. Now, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground today. We've deconstructed the invisible wall of a slouched posture. We've explored the hard science of the body mind connection, understanding that while some early claims are debated, the psychological effect of posture on your feelings of power is a well documented reality. We walked step by step through the 60-second posture reset, your personal ritual for shifting from fear to readiness. And we've discussed how to build this into your life and use micro adjustments to maintain your presence. And we've seen how this all comes together in a powerful social feedback loop where the world begins to mirror the respect you are finally showing yourself. The signal, most important thing, and this is going to be the single most important thing that we're going to signal, is to take away uh, from the negative, and we're going to learn to reach towards the confidence that is not a personality trait, because confidence is a skill that is developed. I know a lot of people believe that his personality is confident. It's not a personality trait. It's a skill. It's a soft skill. And like any skill, it can be practiced and mastered. The way you carry your body is one of the most direct ways to to practice that skill. Your posture isn't just a detail; it's the foundation of your presence. So here's my challenge for you guys to do over this coming weekend. Don't just let this be an interesting show that you came to on Christmas Day. Make it an experiment. The 7-day respect reset challenge. First, your baseline. Right now, I want you on a scale of 1 to 10 to rate your average confidence in social or professional situations. Be honest about it. Write it down. Put it in the comment section. Then, daily practice for the next 7 days. Perform the 60-second posture reset at least twice a day, once in the morning and once before a specific situation where you tend to feel anxious. Then I want you to notice and take note about it, because after that situation, you want to take 30 seconds to jot down one thing that you notice. Did you speak up? Did someone smile at you? Did you feel a little less anxiety? Just notice one small piece of the new evidence. At the end of the week, after 7 days, you look at all of your notes, rate your confidence again on that same 1 to 10 scale. Be realistic about it. Compare the numbers. But more importantly, read your notes. See the small wins. See the evidence that you've collected. This is about taking one small, manageable step to reclaim your power. It's about learning to stand like you belong in the room, because you do. It's about learning to take up space because you deserve to. It's about broadcasting to the world, and more importantly, to yourself, that you are here, you are valuable, and you are ready to be heard. Now, I want you to go out there and I want you to stand tall. That's all I have for you guys for tonight. I want to thank you guys for coming to tonight's show. I want to start off by saying, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So, ladies, please make it make sense. Fellas, I provide you guys with this information in order to help you guys become higher value men. So, if you take this information and utilize it to change the things in the world that you can control and then navigate around the things that you cannot, you can find yourself with a happier and more productive life. Now, while this is a male driven podcast from the male's perspective, I understand, ladies, that y'all can come to and take this information and use this to make yourselves higher value women. When you proactively put in the effort to change the things inside of your control, ladies, and then find yourself a partner that you can couple with that has the same mentality of improvement. You guys don't have to have the same ideals, but you guys can both go in the same direction at the same time with reinforced support from your partner. And you can find yourselves a happier way of life as well. So stay tuned for tomorrow because we have more information. It looks like mixed martial arts is going to have me provide him with a lot more information about detaching emotionally from emotionally damaged relationships. So that's going to be later in the week, in the upcoming week. So you should see that post coming up real soon. We do have the rest of this week set up already, except for Monday. So for the remainder from now until Tuesday, I think is already up there. But based on the question from mixed martial arts, you'll start seeing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week going up there as well. So make sure that you take time out of your day before you leave the show to like and subscribe, and then tap dance on over to the channel and go and hit that notification button. I want to thank you guys for coming to this and that. I really appreciate you guys coming to the Christmas episode that we had today. I'm your host, Sander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command.